Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in today's video I'm going to be running you through how to create and design emails in Figma. This is going to be a step-by-step walkthrough just for a very simple email, as you can see. So let's get right into it. So first things first, what you want to do when creating an email is creating your frame. What you can do is come down here, frame, or F on the keyboard is a shortcut. And one thing to make sure whenever you're creating an email is ensuring it's 600 pixels wide. This is the optimal size for both desktop and laptop when it comes to creating emails within Figma. So what we're going to do, come over here into dimensions, 600 pixels. There you go. So first things first, we need the imagery. So I came over to Nike's website earlier and I picked up this image. This is for their shocks R4. What we're going to do is a simple case of dragging and dropping it into the frame. As you can see, you have your frames listed here. When your element is listed as a subsection underneath your frame, that's how you know it's in the frame itself, which means that when you export it and use it in the email, it will actually show up. Sometimes you get the difficulty of placing objects into your frame, but they don't actually register, so when you go ahead and export them, your images won't be there. Now, the next step is creating the logo. So this is Nike's logo. Usually when you go onto a website, you're just going to be able to copy and paste the logo. However, with Nike's, I wasn't able to do that. So the solution here is very simple. We're just going to come over to this actions widget here. Plugins and widgets, the icons, a background remover. That's all you need. Now this is going to remove the background. Next, I will be showing you how to change the color of the logo. So here you go. The background is removed. So now you can see the problem is this is a black logo with a black background behind it. What you need to do here, and as you can see this is white, what you need to do here is very simple. You're going to come to this element, R on the keyboard, you want a rectangle. Any shape can do, but a rectangle is just easiest. And you're going to drag the rectangle over this image. Now this color here, this gray, this is the default color for any shape you're creating in Figma. What you want to do is change this to white. So you click on the box here, drag this over to white. The color code is F, click F once and you're done. Black is 0, so it's just a shortcut and makes life a lot easier. So what we're going to do is bring this over this. As you can see, they are aligned. So once we've done that, the next step is to use a mask. Now the problem we have here is that one layer is above and one layer is below in this list of where this frame is. Now the problem that this creates is that when you mask the two layers, everything in between it gets highlighted as well, which means the mask won't work. So the easiest way to do this, and especially when you're working with a jam-packed Figma file and everything's everywhere, is to select one, select the second, so you have both elements, Control G, so you can right click and group. Control G to group is much easier, and then Control backspace to ungroup. And what that does is moves the two elements together, so you can select. Now, once they are together, you have rectangle above, logo underneath. You're going to come over here. Now this is users mask. More actions, users mask. You can see these. Click two together, and there you have it. So white Nike logo, easily done. Now we're just going to go ahead and drop that into the thing. Now, when it comes to creating headlines, I'd always recommend, if you have a brow, making it smaller, making the headline the biggest thing on the page. At the end of the day, is what people are going to be reading, is what creates your story with your email. So that's the most important thing. So I could go ahead and type this all out, but there's no point. This is how you're going to edit your text. So you can choose fonts from a list here. You're also able to install ones yourself, and you can choose bold, play around with the size, the spacing of the letters, etc. There's a lot you can do with it, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to copy and paste this and bring it over. So there you have it. This is as simple as it gets. Now, one problem you may come across, I will just duplicate this for ease sake. Now, one problem you may come across when it comes to using imagery in your emails is that the images aren't ideal. You know, there's the contrast between the background image and the text isn't great, or you need to change the colors of things, you need a fade or something. The solution here is really simple. Well, now there are two. I've seen people do it another way, but this is the way I like to do it. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your image, you're going to copy and paste it. Now, with the image layer beneath your original, you're going to come over to Fill, and you're going to change this to a gradient. From here, you are going to select where you'd like your gradient to start and finish. So say if I wanted to black out this top bit, I'd make this 0, I come down here, oh shit, I make this 0, I come down here, and I'll make this 100. Now this is the opacity of your elements. By 0 and 100 I mean their opacity. So for this first section you're going to make it 0, for this next section you're going to make it 100. You can even do the same with the bottom if you'd like to black that out as well. So you make that 100 and the bottom 0. Now when you come over here, it's exactly the same process as doing the logo. You're just going to come over here, users mask, boom, you should be good. When the background is black, 0, there you have it. Now it looks like a nice clean fade on your image. So that's just something if you're interested in, or if you're working with difficult imagery. Now the next step is just going to be creating your buttons, and that's as simple as making another rectangle, R on the keyboard, dragging it and manipulating it to the size you want and placing text above it. So we're just going to copy and paste that for ease sake. Now let's get to the next section. So here we have a benefits section. It's very simple. I'd always recommend limiting the amount of copy you have when it comes to designed email, dependent on the style you're using. But 9 times out of 10, your audience is just going to be skim reading something, and icons are a very effective way to get that understanding across to your audience. So here's the sub headline: what makes the shocks R4 different. I would write that out, but there's no point, so we're just going to copy and paste that, bring that over, and here what we have just done is created 3 rectangles. So come over here, rectangle, make it the size you want, etc. This is where we can manipulate the size of it. So if I wanted it 500, there you go. And now when it comes to centering, you want, unless you're doing something special with your email, like something that we'll get onto later, you always want everything centered, otherwise it just looks stupid. So as you can see, when I'm dragging this, you can see these orange lines. These are the guiding lines of your email. Now you can use these, but sometimes it's a bit of a pain to try and drag it. It's centimeter by centimeter. So what you're going to do, there's a shortcut, Alt-H, and what that does is center. So you can always come over here, go to alignment and click that. However, I like to use the shortcut Alt-H. What that does is centers everything, just makes it look 10 times better. Now as you can see here, we have a grey background with white blocks. So we're going to drag a box over this, and using our layers, so what you can do, you can right click and you can come to these, bring to front, send to back. We want to send this to the back, so I click that. The shortcuts are the left and right bracket. It makes life a lot easier. Left bracket, send it to the back of your email, and you can get everything on top of it. Now, so we had a rectangle, the same color as our background. What we're going to do is change that to white, so F, there you go. And I got these icons from a website called Flat Icon. I think they're really good in terms of getting what you need. However, you do need a subscription to actually use their icons. Now you can find free ones on the internet, but it is a bit longer. And if you are going to Flat Icon, I'd always suggest getting a subscription, because you can download them free, but only for personal use. Attribution to the original author is required if you're using them within your marketing campaigns and you haven't paid for it. So you could run into issues. I wouldn't suggest it. So you can see the difference between these 2 rectangles is this has rounded edges, this doesn't. What you're going to do is click on this rectangle here. You're going to come over to appearance, corner radius. What you can do is type in something here, 10, 15, 20, they're always good to use. Or you can just click on the line here and drag it, and that can give you your desired shape, etc. So I'm just going to leave it at 16. Now, for the sake of this, we're just going to copy and paste that, bring that over, and this line we had, there you go, make sure it's centered within the thing. Might need to make this a bit longer. Alt-H, center that, there you go, that looks decent. There you go. So as you can see, I've just sorted out the design, the spacing, etc. of these objects. Now, all we're missing here is this line. So it's literally on the keyboard, make another rectangle, drag and drop that. You can make it skinny to drag it, or you can just alter the width. So if we make that 0 on the keyboard to make it black, and from here, we're just going to click it and drag it until it's aligned with everything. That looks about right. We can change these two. There you go. Now what you're going to want to do is copy and paste. Now you see what I just did there. So you select when you want to drag and highlight elements together. What happens is you will always end up highlighting the background of your image, anything you have behind it. The solution for this, if you only want to highlight these objects, is to hold down Shift and click on the things you don't want. You can hold down Shift and get them again. Hold down Shift, get rid of it. Now from here, we're just going to want to copy and paste this. So Control C, Control V, and we can drag that down. Another way to do it is by holding down Alt and dragging. And the benefit of this is that you also get guidance lines. So you can see, as you can see, there's 19 spaces in between each, or 19 pixels, should I say, in between each thing. Whenever you're creating a row / a list of the same item, the same design style, etc., blocks like this, you always want to make sure they're evenly spaced. That's one of my pet hates, so please don't do that. From here, we are just going to implement these bits of copy and this icon. So I'll be back with you in a second. Okay, so boom, there we go. All I did was duplicate, change icons, change copy, etc. Easy. Now what we want to do is make another button. So you can copy and paste another one you have. You can do the rectangle text on top sort of thing, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to copy and paste it. Now we're on to the bestseller section, so get rid of that. So next, what we're going to want to do is come and create this bestseller section. Now, the first thing to do is increase the height of this email. So now you can do this just through dragging and clicking. Sometimes the problem you will face is when you are increasing the size of it, it brings buttons down with it, certain elements. I don't know why it happens, but the way to get around that is holding down Control and then dragging or clicking and dragging, and that will make sure everything stays within the same place. So the idea is completely the same here. We're just going to grab another rectangle, so I'm just going to copy and paste this one. We're going to change it to black, 0 on the keyboard, Alt-H to center it. I'm going to bring that up, and you can copy and paste that, change it to Y, F, and for the sake of this, we're just going to bring this here. Now comes our imagery. So if I take this image and we've got it like this, the way to do these things is you can either, it depends on the size, sort of what style you're going for, you can align it against the center of your email and put text on the other side. The thing I don't like about it, however, is that it leaves too much white space around here. So what we're going to do is just move it over ever so slightly. There you go. Now the way to make your design symmetrical is very simple. If you're going to create a zigzag pattern like this, you want everything to be within the same sort of area. You want it to be symmetrical, as I said, or asymmetrical. So what we're going to do is, with this image here, we are going to create a rectangle from the edge of our email to the image. You see that yellow line comes up, that means they're touching borders. As you can see here, the width is 58. That means this is 58 pixels away from our border. So what we're going to do is come down here, place that on the same side. We're going to take this second image and we're going to place it up against the border of this rectangle like that. What you can do is align the two, but I do like to leave some space because you put buttons and things underneath. Now it's just a case of you can copy and paste text from somewhere else, write the headline, copy and paste this button, slightly change the side of it, and there you go. So now that these two images are here, it's just a case of taking text and new button, copy and paste from wherever, T on the keyboard, create a text block, or R, create a rectangle, however you want to do it. I just like copy and pasting because it's easier. Now, say for example, we didn't have this. So let's say we've set up this first section like this. When it comes to creating repeats, the easiest thing to do is to copy and paste it, right? So we just bring that down, but we want to flip it. Now you can right click on this and come down here and you can go flip horizontal. However, based on spacing, you see that it looks off, that this isn't in line with this and this isn't in line with this. They're sort of all over the place. So what you are going to do is realign that, and then from here it's just a case of flipping it horizontally. The shortcut for it is Shift H, so Shift H, change the text on this, and there you go. So I will go ahead and do that now. So there we go. As you can see, the final sections are in. Now the last thing is to create this burger menu at the bottom. Now, one thing that I always like to do when I'm creating emails for brands is put a burger menu at the bottom. The best reason for this is because at the end of the day, you're trying to sell the click, and even though decision fatigue is real, give people too many options, they get confused. If someone scrolls through your whole email and they're interested in your brand, but they aren't interested in what you're actually promoting to them at the moment, whether it is a promotion or not, you give them options. So for example, you could have a shop all, join the team, subscribe and save, etc, etc. It gives more options to make sure you're not missing out on clicks and sales. So from here, all we're going to do is take the logo again. We're going to make it smaller. The way I did that is holding down Shift, dragging one of these and making it smaller. What Shift does is it keeps everything in size. So say for example, with this logo, if I wasn't to hold down Shift, it squishes it, cuts it out. What Shift does is it keeps the element the exact same dimensions. It just changes like the size of it, if that makes sense. So there you go, there's our Nike logo. Alt-H to center that, and from here it's just a case of making 3 more rectangles. As you can see, we have a grey rectangle with a black outline. This is just the standard color, and all I've done is created a stroke. You can play around with the weight of it here, you can make it full if you want it thick, etc, etc. If you come over to these dots, advanced stroke settings, you can make it dash. Say for example you wanted to create like a coupon cutout style of design, you'd use the dash. You can play around with the dashes, so you can make them bigger or smaller, you can increase the gaps and angles, etc, etc. But for this, we're just going to keep it solid. We're going to place that back to 1, and that's all you need to do. So we will copy and paste these. As you can see, I've highlighted the background. Shift click gets rid of it. CV, Control C, Control V, copy and paste it, and there you go. Now we're just going to select this frame and bring it down, and that's our email. So there you go, there's our email. Very simple, very clean, very clear. I hope you found some use in this. If you'd like to see any more videos, just let me know, and of course, if you have any questions, feel free to drop something in the comments, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Bye bye, my friends.